Until the reclusive millionaire with the funny name arrived in Tiny Antelope, things here hadn't changed much. Folks went to church, met for coffee, and busied themselves with the daily details that don't make headlines. And then a group no one had heard of went and bought 100 square miles of land, a parcel about twice the size of San Francisco. They said their goal was to build a commune, a place of peace.
It's a constructive, growing, creative community. It's a community of love.
But the townspeople saw it differently. The followers of the Bhagwan Shree Rajneesh were a threat to a cherished way of life. And things only got worse when the red-clad worshippers maneuvered to take over Antelope and rename it Rajneeshpuram.
The old Antelope Cafe and post office became Zorba the Buddha's vegetarian restaurant, and most of the old-timers sold their homes and fled.
And it was a pretty little town. It was quiet, it was restful. But anymore, it looks like sort of a weed-grown lot.
In the beginning, there was a wary curiosity, but resentment soon began to roll through here like tumbleweed, with residents ready to take up arms against the Rajneeshis if necessary.
This fight has become so intense that at the borders of the new city of Rajneeshpuram, there are checkpoints where overnight visitors and delivery men are searched for drugs, for guns, for bombs.
And the organization only made things worse when it began a controversial outreach program. In city after city, the Bhagwan's disciples were seen lobbying the homeless.
About 20 people looking for a new way of life boarded a chartered bus in San Francisco this morning. It will take them to Oregon, to the ranch that the millionaire Bhagwan Rajneesh bought for his followers.
By the time the so-called Share a Home program reached Philadelphia, the Rajneeshis were met with skepticism.
It's like a Jim Jones thing, type of thing. You rolling out the red carpet, and that ain't true.
Is it? It is true. You may not believe it, but it is true.
Back in Oregon, the Bhagwan had given up public appearances, except for daily drive-bys in one of his many Rolls-Royces. At one point, he reportedly owned 93. At first, the commune's activities had seemed benign. Occasional open houses allowed the public a rare glimpse of what can only be called Bhagwan world, and a life devoted to a man who called himself the Blessed One.
It's all for him, and thus for us as well. It's for humanity. It's the greatest thing happening for humanity in the world today.
But as the years went by, the public face of Rajneeshpuram was no longer the Bhagwans. It belonged to this woman, Ma Anand Sheila, the president of the Rajneesh Foundation. When it turned out that the Share the Home program had been recruiting only men over the age of 18 and not women and children and the elderly, suspicions grew that Sheila was trying to build an army of potential voters. But to what end? Ted Koppel and Nightline tried to find out.
People are voicing some suspicions, but they're not suggesting that you've done anything wrong, but they're just wondering why you're bringing all these people in, and if you want them to vote, what's wrong with that? Why not say it?
Why I'm not saying it? Because I did not bring them in to vote. Why should I say something that I did not do?
At Rajneeshpuram, the Bhagwan's followers worked sun up to sundown, toiling in the fields, milking the cows, building a community without equal, and all without pay. But the commune could never shake the impression that at its core, it wasn't what was being advertised. And in fact, the news eventually leaked out that many of these happy, shiny people were in reality disillusioned and tired.
This one particular satsang that was going to be filmed, everybody was instructed the day before to look ecstatic.
The end came in 1985 when a federal grand jury indicted the Bhagwan and his disciples on immigration violations. He was arrested trying to flee the country in a rented Learjet. After a plea bargain, the enlightened one was deported. His followers drifted away too, on chartered buses down a boulevard of broken dreams.